to, I think it's only about 5 p.m. It's almost 5 p.m. here. But I wanted to go live and kind of address the situation with my aunt, because a lot of people are deep diving about my aunt, and they are finding like Facebook posts, arrest records, and all this kind of stuff, and I thought I would kind of explain so people are not confused on what happened. So I'm going to kind of clarify some things. I'm going to make it brief because I am going to make a longer video talking about it, because it's a very detailed story that would need a sit-down video that could be 20 to 30 minutes long, just because it is such a long story and situation. So I'm going to try and sum it up the best I can. So I will try and just do the pinpoints in the timeline as quickly as possible with the main things that happened. But like I said, it is a very, very long story. So I'll just kind of say the pinpoints on what happened. So I'll start from the beginning. My eldest aunt, she is the eldest out of all my aunts. My mom is the second. This aunt, I think she's 45, 46. And my mom is 43, so my mom's the second one. This aunt, she's always been kind of a loose bulb. I don't know how to put it. She's always been very mean and controlling. She was the popular girl in school, you know, always the center of attention, that type of person, if that makes sense. So she and the reason why that's so important is because of what happens and why it's so strange to all of us on why it happened, because she was always so concerned. He's watching Teletubbies, so he's interacting with them. It's so cute. Is why it's so important to know that she was, you know, the popular girl. She was cared about the way she looked, that kind of stuff. Like, it was very important to her. So it honestly started about 4 years ago. 4 years ago, she started distancing herself from the family, like not going to Thanksgiving, Christmas, that kind of stuff. Are you talking to the Teletubbies? Yeah, do you love Poe? His favorite Teletubbies, Poe. But she, like, sorry, I'm trying to think because it's also crammed in. It's so much to absorb. But she would stop going to like family things, like just little things we invite her to, like, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, that kind of thing. She would always make excuses. She stopped calling. Every time we went to her house became more and more cluttered, more and more dirty. She wasn't taking good care of it, and she normally, I don't know if she was a very clean person from memory. I lived with all of my aunts when I was a kid, but she was never home. So we're all really close because we all did live in a 2-bedroom house together when I was growing up, and it was all of my aunts, and we were very, very close family. My aunt stopped going to family things. And then it was not last Thanksgiving, but the Thanksgiving before is when we really realized something was wrong, because she had promised to go, and she was supposed to bring the rolls, and she had some stuff she was supposed to bring, and she kept saying, oh, I'm on my way, but she only lived like 10 minutes away from my grandma's house, and she just never showed up, and she just kept making excuses, kept fighting with everyone on why she wasn't going to go. And that's kind of like when it started. That's when we knew something was wrong. And fast forward a few months later, my other aunt, Jessica, she's the youngest aunt, so she's closer to my age. She's the same age as Jihoon. Her daughter was going through some medical issues at the time, and she wasn't, like, my eldest aunt, Melissa, was being kind of weird. She wasn't very supportive. She wasn't really interacting with us, so we had no idea why she was acting like this. Is it okay? Oh, my poor baby. My babies are sick. Is it okay? Yeah. Both my babies have bad coughs right now. I've been giving them medicine, and they've been sleeping. I'm not Mormon. I just randomly saw that comment. I'm not Mormon, but my family's Mormon. Anyways, I'm sick too. I think I'm the one that got them sick, so I feel guilty. So anyways, she was acting weird. She wasn't being very supportive and all this stuff. And what we really noticed was it was actually when Jihoon was first visiting when this happened. She was arrested, and her husband had called my mom, and he was like, I don't know what happened. Melissa's acting crazy. What are you doing, Pumpkin? He learned how to escape from his little chair. Careful. Yeah, it's a strong boy. Hold on, I'm gonna move him. My rug's washing right now, so he doesn't have anywhere soft to sit, so hold on. Come here. Come sit with Mama. Whoa. Come sit with your mama. Ugh, Mommy's telling a story. See, he's my little sick bean today. So, anyways. Let me sit. Oh, excuse you. Let me put this right here. We're all sick today. Anyways. I know my little sick bean. My little sick bean. Mommy's sick too. Mommy, get you sick? He'll want to show off in the camera. So, serious story, but cute baby to distract you. So, sorry, I forgot where it was. My brain hurts. Does he know any Korean? He says Oma and Appa. It's so weird to speak like a lot of English because I always speak broken English here, so my brain hurts when I do speak normal English. So she was acting very weird, and we had, Rem. Her husband called my mom. That's what happened. Her husband called my mom, and he was like, Melissa's so crazy. She was just arrested, blah, 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 blah. So long story short on that, I guess like she wanted money and he wouldn't give her money because they didn't really have any money at the time. And I guess she showed up to his work belligerent, like cursing at him, freaking out. She like punched him in front of everyone, and he owns this business. So you know, that's like really embarrassing because that's his business. And she like apparently she like pantsed him or something. And while this was happening, her youngest son was recording it. And the youngest son actually gave it to the police so they could see. And so they arrested her. And my mom and grandma bailed her out of jail to know kind of what was going on because they wanted to know both sides of the story. And so Melissa went to stay with my grandma. And I want you guys to know this is all within 1 week span. This timeline is 1 week. And the reason why that's important is like to show you guys how fast things can spiral. Yeah, you tell them. You tell them. You tell them. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to tell a serious story, but he's just so damn cute. He's my sick bean. When my kids are sick, they're both like, they just want to play. They don't even care that they're sick. They're just like, whatever, let's just have fun. Well, you need a diaper change, so let's change your diaper. Yeah, he knows that people are watching, so he wants to show off and stand up. And so, I know it's like, I told you guys, this super long story. That's why I'm going to do an actual, like, sit-down video and explain it. But she went to stay with my grandma. I'm going to say it really fast because I'm, like, taking too long. She went to stay with my grandma, and my brain hurts. My mom went to the house, Melissa's house, and the house was wrecked. It looked like a bunch of homeless people lived there. You know, like when squatters go into a house and just wreck it. That's what it looked like. And my mom sent me videos. It was bad. The toilets like were overflowing. They weren't flushed. And this is a nice house. Like, this is a big ass house, and it's like a dream house, right? Broken glass everywhere, just totally trashed. It looked disgusting. Wipe your nose. I know, no baby likes that. No baby likes that. How cute. The other babies are saying hi, and all of us mamas are just like, we want to tell our story. But that's life with a baby. He's a drooler. He's always drooling. I've not seen that show. Anyways. My grandma came home that day, and Melissa had a bunch of homeless people at my grandmother's house, like just random homeless people she met that day. And that's what she would do. And this is in a sketchy area of Utah. It's Ogden City, and there's like a lot of like tent cities there. It's very ghetto. It's like the ghetto part of Utah. A lot of drugs, and like the homeless people are homeless because they're drug addicts. It's not because, you know, life happens. Like, these certain homeless people go there because there's drugs, there's sex trafficking, there's just all this stuff. Like, it's where you want to be. I know, he's just so cute, it's hard to focus. Huh. No, I didn't have a breakdown. I just got out of the shower with Taylor. I always tend to go live when I get out of the shower. But it's a great opportunity to go live because Drusilla is asleep. And I'm not one to just get ready and go live because I ain't got time for that. And so there's just all these random homeless people at my grandmother's house. My grandmother's like, you know, like anyone, like, get the fuck out, like, go away. Oh, excuse my language, Taeyang. You know, get out. That's not cool. Yeah, crackheads everywhere, man. Ogden's bad. And so my aunt got angry like a teenager and was like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear Taeyang hear me swear. Screw you. He likes it. He's like, what are you doing? Screw you, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, with curse words. And left. And we had court 2 days later or the next day. I can't remember because it was so long ago. And we really needed to get her to court because my mom and my grandma had bailed her out. And, you know, if they don't show up for court, you lose your bail's bond thing. However that works. I'm not sure. Just because I've never gone to jail, so I'm not entirely sure what it's called. But, yeah, you lose your money. And then you have to pay, like, the entire bond thing. And we don't have that kind of money. You know, my grandma does not have that kind of money. My grandma's a hard-working lady who goes to work every day. You know, so she doesn't have that kind of money. She can't afford that. And so my mom goes on a hunt to find Melissa. So it is the third day is when she had court because the second day my mom was looking for her. And my mom went all over Ogden, found her in Tent City in Ogden. And she was staying in a tent. Like, this woman who has this beautiful house, the perfect life, the dream life everyone wants, where you get your picket house, you got your husband who owns his own business, you get your hair and nails done all the time, you look fantastic, like the dream life. But now, like, literally within a week, she's over here in a tent with hobos, and she's like, oh, Elisha, who's my mom, talking to her. She's like, these are my friends, and she's introducing them all to her crackhead friends, these hobos. And she's like, oh, this is my boyfriend. And then some hobo guy that she just met is now her boyfriend who lives in a tent. Okay, not a nice tent. These are like little itty bitty tents. And there's shit everywhere. Like all this stuff. And Drusilla's great. She's taking a nap. She's really sick right now, so she's resting. And And it's just so weird to me. It's just so weird because she cared so much about her presence, like the way she looked, about people. She was very rude to homeless people. Like, she just like thought they were disgusting. And then she's over here and she smells like shit. She looks like shit. Like, get it out, baby. Get it out. She smells like shit. All this kind of stuff. Hold on, let me grab his blankie. Here's your blankie. Oh. She smells like shit. She looks like shit. She hasn't changed her clothes. Her hair is just gross, like all this stuff. And my mom's like, hey, you gotta go to court tomorrow. And Melissa's like, I know, it's fine, I'll go to court tomorrow. And so, oh, hold on, let me just put my hair behind me. All this stuff. And I wouldn't call it a mental health breakdown. I would call it meth. She was on meth for 5 years, and we just barely found out, and it all makes sense because of how badly she wanted the drugs. Anyways, my mom goes, picks her up the next day, takes her to my grandma's house, showers, all that stuff, goes there. And now here's the thing about Melissa. Melissa knew my work schedule. I work in Ogden, next to my grandmother's work. She knew my schedule. She knew my mom watched Drusilla, and she knew that my mom would never let Drusilla around her alone. So Melissa knew all of this stuff about me because we're a family. Excuse me. Anyways, sorry, I'm trying to read the comments at the same time. So the next day, they go to court. Charges are dropped. She doesn't get any fucking time, which isn't surprising. And I'll tell you why it's not surprising. Because Weber County, which is the Ogden, where Ogden is in Weber County. Now, Ogden, like I said, it's not the safest place. There's murders, there's shootings. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff happening every single day. So the police are more concerned about that kind of stuff, which is understandable. So something like this, they're like, whatever, get out of here, So they're more focused on all the murders and that kind of stuff, which I understand. I know, he's just so cute and distracting. I know, I keep looking at him in the live, and that's why I keep getting distracted explaining, because I keep looking at him in the camera. And so, they come to our house. Melissa has to be dropped back off at Ogden. And yeah, you tell him. All that stuff. And so they get to my house. I was pissed. I was so pissed that day because I call shit like this. I always call this shit. I said, don't let that woman around me. She's dangerous. I called it. I knew she was on drugs. I knew the way she was acting. I knew she was going to do some psycho shit because I am smart when it comes to these things. I can call it from a mile away. And, anyways, she's acting weird. And my mom's like, hey, I'm not going to take Drusilla with her. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want you to take Drusilla with her. I'll drop her off on my way to work. Like, keep her away from Drusilla. And so, I get her in the car. And she had disappeared for like 5 minutes outside. And when we were, oh, bless you. When we were in the car driving to Ogden, I live in Layton, so it's about, I want to say, 20-minute drive. She's acting weird. And she's very loud. She doesn't mumble. And she's mumbling. And she's saying the weirdest stuff. Like, hey, do you know you can live off the earth? Like, you can do this. Like, telling me hobo tricks, right? Like, homeless people tricks. Like, on how to live off the streets, that kind of stuff. And then she starts talking about my youngest aunt. Now, I've had 2 aunts commit suicide. And this is why it's important in this story, too. My youngest aunt, who was my age, committed suicide when we were 19 years old. And then I had another aunt who committed suicide about a year ago. So in December it will be a year. And this is important to the story. But my youngest aunt, she starts talking about my youngest aunt who killed herself and talking about my youngest aunt's car wreck. My youngest aunt was in a car wreck. And Melissa thinks like the car wreck made her brain fucked up, and that's why she committed suicide, which kind of makes sense because that it is common for people to commit suicide after car wrecks because of brain injuries. And she's acting weird. She's bringing up my aunt, and we were really close. And she's like, "Wouldn't that be weird if you got in a car wreck? What do you think would happen if you disappeared?" Like, she's just saying the weirdest stuff to me, and she's mumbling. And oh, you got the boogers. Let's get ya. Boop boop boop. There we go. All clean. And. I can't answer anything about my life right now. So take the hint on that. I can't answer anything about my life right now and where I am. But we're driving. She's acting weird. She's saying the weirdest things. I can't remember the exact things she was saying, but it was like alarming enough where I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And then I knew where she wanted me to take her. I was supposed to take her to a bus stop that's by like this jail release job thing. Like, you know, you go to jail and then you job release, whatever the building is. I was supposed to take her there. And I'm driving there. She's like, "This is the wrong way. This is the wrong way. Take me over here." She takes me to this place called 24th Street. Now, 24th Street, if you're from Utah, there's an abandoned insane asylum. There's all these abandoned buildings. It's a very sketchy place that you don't want to be. She takes me there. And I'm like, "Melissa, this is not the right place." And she's like, no, I know where I'm going. I'm like, "No, this is not the right place." She gets out of the car, tries to get me to go in the back. She's like, "I'll drive. I'll take us there. You just get in the car." I was like, "Fuck no, hell no, I'm driving." I'm trying to be stern and stand my ground, but you know, she's scary. She's like my height, and normally people don't intimidate me because I'm tall. But if you're my height, I'm scared of you because I know you're strong like me. And she was obviously on drugs, and people who take drugs are very scary. And I didn't know if she was on bath salts or not, because before that, someone had told us that she had taken bath salts. And if you've seen those bath salt videos, someone got hit by a fucking bus. Excuse my language, Taeyong. Someone got hit by a bus on bath salts and stood up and started walking. Like, so it's very scary. And yeah. Well, let me grab his toy. Anyways, I got his toy. He's a paw. Here's your paw. So she's acting weird. And so at this point, I knew something was up, because during the drive there, she kept telling me to call off work. And I wasn't going to call off work because I was trying to save my vacation time to see Ji-hoon to go to Vegas. And she just kept saying, like, my Aunt Allison used to call off a lot. She's like, "Allison used to call off all the time. It's fine. It's fine. Just call off work." And I was like, "Dude, I can't call off work." But she really wanted me to call off work. And I just kept saying, I'm not missing work. So that's when I knew something was up. So I knew, she just kept saying, "Just drive to Wayfair and call off work," which is where I worked at the time. And I knew if I drove there, I could drive to my grandma's work, because my grandma's work was right next to my work, and it looks the exact same. And I knew that my grandma's work actually had security walking around, and they call the police if someone's weird there, because I used to work there. So I knew, and I knew Melissa didn't know the difference. So I say, excuse me. So I say, fine. Oh, and just so you guys know, this entire time my phone was broken. Okay? Because people were like, "Oh, why don't you call the police?" My phone was broken. For some reason, I could only text. I couldn't call. And I tell you, after this event, I made sure I've never had a broken phone. So I'm trying to text my parents without making it obvious. Like, "Dude, call the police. Something's weird. I think she's trying to take my car." And then I kept thinking, well, if she wants my car, she can just take my car. I'll give her my car. I don't care. And then I'll just call the police. Or text someone to call the police. And so I kept thinking, like, why does she need me? That's when I knew something was up, because she kept wanting me to stay. And if someone just wants to take your car, they can just take your car. You know, they can just say, "Get out, give me your car." And I would have given her my car, just been like, "Here, just take my car." Because I knew how she was. I knew how crazy she was. I've known her my whole life. She's always been a little crazy. And so I drive to my grandma's work, and I park where I know the security guard watches. And she gets out of the car. She starts like checking my car. And I said, Melissa, what are you doing? Why are you checking my car? She's like, he told me to check your car. He told me to check your car. She just kept saying he. And before that, I just remember before that, when we were driving, she said, do you have like batteries? Because she had a walkie-talkie, and that's how she was talking to whoever he was. And she kept saying, do you know when the jail work release jail thing gets out, because we need to meet him. Like, she just kept saying weird things, and that's when I knew I was in danger, because she kept bringing up a dude when she was talking to me. And then she said, oh, he's supposed to meet us here. He's supposed to be here already. Why isn't he here? He said he would be at Wayfair. Why isn't he here? And during this time, I'm texting everyone, like, fucking hurry, like, get someone out here. And I knew my grandma was at work that day, thank God. Thank God my grandma was there. And she starts getting in my car. She starts cleaning my car of receipts that have my name on it. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she takes out, like, you know, the glove box, all of this stuff with my name. She starts throwing it out the car and this kind of stuff. She starts taking everything. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? She's like, I need to get rid of your name. I need to get rid of your name. We gotta go. But I can't have your name anywhere. Like, she's tweaking out, obviously. I can't have your name anywhere. But we gotta go. I need your car. You need to call off work right now, because you're not going to work. You need to call off work so they know that you called off work. That's what she kept saying. She kept saying, you can't just not go to work. You have to call off work. And I have to make sure your name, I'm trying to talk how she was talking. And you got to make sure that your name's not anywhere in this car. We got to make sure your car's fine. And she's like, when did you get in a car wreck? Because I got in a car wreck previously before that. Not really a car wreck, but someone hit my car in a parking lot. But she didn't know that. She thought it was a car wreck. So she was making sure that my car was fine, and I was just like, bro, you're scary. And then she's like, do you have money? Where's your money? And I literally didn't have money this time. Hold on 1 second. He's okay. Where's Papa? Side note, my son, he only likes the hospital nipples. And it's frustrating because you can't get these anywhere. You have to order these nipples. So I have to bulk order these nipples because he won't take any other nipple except the hospital nipples, which is very funny. Anyways, like I said, it's a really long story. So she's like freaking out, and thank God my grandma was in the text thread. My grandma comes running out because that's where she works, and she's like, Melissa, what the F are you doing? What the F? And Melissa didn't know she worked there. And Melissa just looks stressed. She's like, what the hell? And then Melissa starts yelling at me, how could you, blah, blah, blah. And my grandma steps in between us, and she starts yelling at her. And she's like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? And that's when Melissa, I kid you not, this is what Melissa said. She's like, I need to take Devan's car because there's bombs in her car. She's from North Korea. I shit you not, that's what she said. She's from North Korea. She's trying to bomb Utah. I need to protect Utah and take the car. That's what she said. And anyways, that's what she said. And it was psycho. It was psycho. 1 second. I will be right back. I need to pause this. Is there a way to pause it? The reason why I didn't leave is because I was scared. If you've seen her in person, it's very, very scary. How do I pause this? Do I click end, or is there a way to pause it? Does anyone know how to pause a story? I swear to God, I've done it before. Or not a story, a live. Anyways, I will be right back. I'm going to put him down and change him and lay him down, and then I will finish. So I'll be right back. Okay. I'm just waiting for people to come back. Whew. So I can finish my story. Explaining and stuff. Whew, I am a mess. Okay, it looks like pretty much everyone is back, that was listening to the story. So talk about angles. Everyone says, you don't look like your pictures, you don't look like your pictures. Well, no shit, I don't look like my pictures, because every time I go live, I look like this. Anyways, damn extensions. I forgot to save the video just now, the live video I just did, but like I said, I'm going to make an actual video sitting down and talking about it more in detail, because it's a super long story. Where we left off was my grandma and aunt were bickering at each other, and she was trying to take my car, saying I was going to bomb Utah because I'm from North Korea. She's crazy. To sum it up, what happened is the police had came. The police could not do anything. And I'll tell you why they could not do anything. Because everybody is saying, well, why isn't she in jail? Why didn't Deavan do anything? Listen, I didn't know her plan till after. And that's what I'm going to get into. Because at this point, I'm just thinking she's trying to take my car. It wasn't until after we found out what she was really trying to do. And because I did not press charges in that moment, because she never actually physically was able to take my car because I was there. And I did not want to press charges because she already had a case going on, which I thought she was actually going to get jail time for. So I was thinking in my head, this chick's going to get what she deserves. It's fine. She's already going to get jail time. I don't want to have to deal with court. I'm pregnant. And I was pregnant at the time. I was very scared. And everybody's like, why didn't you fight back? I was pregnant. I was scared. I know my aunt. She's beaten up several people before, and she's a very violent person. She's attacked police officers. She's attacked random strangers. She's a very violent person. And I knew that, so I'm very scared of her. I would never do anything. And when you're in that type of situation, you're supposed to do everything they say. That way you stay safe. Oh, good day. I'm falling asleep, yes. I can finally clean. Anyways, that's what happened. The police really couldn't do anything. And so this is where all the seriousness happens. I go home. I'm a crying mess. I missed work. I got in trouble, by the way. I got written up for missing work that day, even though I brought them the police reports and all that stuff, and the other place called them, like my grandmother's work called them and showed them video evidence, and they still wrote me up. That's another story. I was so mad about that. And so when they sleep, you sleep. That's true. I go home. My mom is so angry at this point, and my mom goes to look for Melissa because my mom was very scared. Oh, that's gross. I don't want to talk about that nasty stuff. Anyways, my mom's so angry. She goes to find Melissa. And she goes to find Melissa's oldest son, Wyatt, who is my same. Well, he's a little older than me. He's about 2 years older than me. She finds Wyatt. She's telling Wyatt everything. And Wyatt and her go to look for Melissa. They end up finding her. And Melissa was with the dude, the hobo boyfriend, tent city guy that she started dating all of a sudden within one day. Wyatt, now my cousin Wyatt, he's currently in prison. So he knows that. Like, he was homeless for a long time. Everyone's asking my height real quick. I'm 5'9". Just to answer that real quick. So my cousin knew all the hobos. He knew all of this crazy people. He knew like the street people. He saw this guy, got out of the car, starts swinging, say, "Get the F away, blah, 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 how dare you, blah, blah, blah." Anyways, make it shorter, because like I said, I'll do a longer video. What we found out is her tent boyfriend and her had planned the night before. Oh, baby, did you wake up now? Are you okay? No, I'm sorry. 1 second. I'll get you some juice. Do you want some juice? Okay. I will get you some juice, baby. 1 second, guys. I only have the pink juice, baby. Is this okay? I only have pink juice. Do you want Sprite?
No, I want a baby.
Oh, here, you got juice right here. There's juice right here. This is the yummy juice. Here's the yummy juice. There you go. Oh, Papa. Okay, I will go get juice. Sorry, I just have to get juice real quick. I got 2 sick babies. I'm getting it. I think I saw some juice in your backpack, baby. I found your bubbles. I only got the pink juice, baby. Okay. Hold on. I will go get some juice. Here, I will come right back.